of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You're it. No, I'm good. You're good. Approval of minutes of the August 2025 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of that meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept the August 20th regular meeting.
Second that motion, all, do we hear any discussion on those minutes? If not, all in favor? Aye. The motion carries. And do we have a approval of the August 27th public hearing minutes? I'll make a motion. Motion made to accept, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we accept the minutes of the public hearing minutes on the 27th of August. Any discussion of that? If not, all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence. Do you have any correspondence? Melissa? Nothing? Okay, unfinished business. Discussion regarding an update on the Sterling Water System Filtration Plant. That would be, we all were at the hearing a month ago, almost a month ago. And we are in the process, we're gonna meet with Matt Cassidy, next week.
Next Tuesday.
And talk about where we go from here, basically, which I think the next step, he'll have a lot more information than we have at the moment, but he will guide us through the next step, which I'm guessing is looking for money primarily.
Correct, finishing the application, finishing the financial application form, and working with the EPA and Atlas on completing that preliminary engineering report that we have as a draft. Finalizing that and getting some on that as
Official.
official.
At some point or other in this process, obviously, we have to select a contractor for this job, once we know where the money's gonna come from. And that is a lengthy process all by itself. There's a long list of prerequisites that a contractor has to fulfill in order to be eligible to bid. So everything about this process is very lengthy and very slow. So we're moving along as quickly as we can, except there's no way to really speed this process up. Anybody have any questions for Judy or me on that? If not, we'll move on to the next order of business. Discussion regarding a budget for the Sterling water system. You have in front of you what Judy has written up. So the historical situation with the water system. And currently, this year, correct me if I'm wrong with this, Judy, is for, if we would have a budget for the fiscal year 26, these are estimated expenses and estimated income. And the difference would be, the shortfall would be $56,976. That should give you some idea of where we stand in terms of the budget. So, would you care to comment on this whole situation as far as the budget's concerned?
It's not truly a budget, it's more of a list of profit and loss. Because to have a budget, you need to have funding to offset all of the expenses. The expenses are continuing to increase. For example, Whitewater, our contract for management for them, that increases by consumer price index every year, and it went up 4.2%. And their hourly fees, they just increased by each of their different categories, average by 10%. So any of the employees that work for them on our water system, those fees increased by $10, 10%.
And just to interrupt you 1 second, that would include the person who reads the meters.
Correct.
If you read the meters, that takes 3 hours. This year, it's gonna be 3 hours at 10% higher than it was last year. So that, any work that they do down there, is 10% higher. That's just the way it works. When we started with Whitewater back in 2015, I think the annual fee was in the vicinity of $20,000 or $21,000 or $2,000. That was their maintenance fee. That's just the contract to have them basically on our, working for us. And it's double that. It's over $42,000 now.
Yes.
but that's just the basic maintenance contract. That is not any additional work. So it's an expensive process, is all there is to it. Well, should we anticipate putting these figures into the actual budget of next year? And that's what we should say, well, that's who should need to decide if they want to do that.
So going through the minutes in the past, one of the things that the WPCA discussed was, because there was a known shortfall, was actually adding a line item to the town's general budget, or the selectmen's budget, which would be the estimate of the loss between what the income and the expenses are for the water system. The only way to not have that would be to increase fees enough to cover the expenses.
Right.
And we did, the WPCA, actually the Board of Selectmen increased the water fees last year. And we talked about doing it again on an annual basis so that we have to catch up with where the surrounding water systems are, and also to try and reduce some of the deficit. So to add it as a line item to the town's budget, I don't know what that would take. I mean, it's, right now, it just gets funded out of the general fund every year. And, but it's never presented as a loss as such.
What do you gentlemen think about adding this as a line item to the budget?
Well, it's something that we've talked about for a long, long time, because I would say at least probably 90% of the people in Sterling don't know that they are paying for this right now.
I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not saying a legal standpoint, but once and for all, maybe it'll be out in the open. And that's what it should be.
Right, transparency, and that way the rest of the town will see what they've been paying for all these years to benefit, like less than 10% of, well, roughly 10% of the town, give or take.
When did we, up that increase last year?
It was approved in December, it was effective in January.
In January? So we could go up even more this time like we were gonna do.
What I'll do, I just talked to Link earlier today, is I'll put together the same numbers, I'll do the research to get what the fees are in the local area.
Okay.
And then using last year's consumption rates, figure out what the difference would be. And you do a chart that tells you if you increased it by this much, it could potentially, based on last year, it could increase income by a certain amount of
Right.
revenue. It's not really income.
If that, Judy's willing to prepare that for next month's meeting. And if that were the case, then we'd have a much better idea of what money, with the additional charge, how much of a shortfall we would have. And as you say, that number would be the one that I think would be the budget.
Right, and again, it has to go through the Board of Selectmen, because they technically control the water system. So, it would be a public hearing, the Board of Selectmen, and then it was a town meeting. And.
I think in
yeah,
order to add this,
it was a
and
Board
make
of
a line item to the budget, I dare say this would require a town meeting, I'm guessing.
That, and also to change the rates.
Right. They could be done at the same time. So I suggest we table the issue of the budget until next month. Is that something that, someone wants to make a motion on?
You got the motion, I'll second it.
Okay. I'll make the motion, you second it. Table this till next month so that we can get a little more information and with the intention of adding a line item to our budget. I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, moving on. Discussion regarding Jeffrey Cooper at 111 Sterling Road, request to waive the sewer bill. Situation where he has two dwellings, one that he lives in, one that he used to rent and is no longer rented. But both are connected to the sewer system. He wants to waive the bill to the unused property. What's your thoughts?
I'm just worried on that, if we do that, he could always go back and put that back in again, that's, and what if he sells the property? Then what happens?
Good point. What do you think, Neil?
I kind of agree with Jack. It sets, in one way, it sets a bad precedent. On the other hand, I can see his point where he's being charged for something that he isn't using, can't use, hasn't used in years or whatever, but you gotta balance it out. You know, it's tough to make exceptions for everybody. Cause if one person gets an exception, then the next person may want it also. You may.
We're gonna have the same situation later on tonight with another piece of property, almost directly across the street from Jeff. What do you think, Reed?
I'm gonna walk the middle line here. I can understand what he's talking about, but still, there is a connection right up to the building, all right?
There is indeed. Yeah. And it was used up until the time that he didn't rent the
Right,
property
so
anymore.
there's no such thing as turning it off like you do the water,
Right. It's an open line.
right? Right, I
Other than digging out the pipe or something. you know.
Right. And it's just, in this case, it's a simple matter of that he didn't, I think he rented the property to his daughter, and then that didn't continue, she decided to live somewhere else. So, but the connection is still there. In here, I happened to look at the ordinance today that has all to do with sewers, and boy, let me tell you, whoever wrote these up was serious. Two pages, both sides of these pages, there's about 8 pages here. So, what it says in there, along one of those lines, is that you have no choice. If you are hooked up, you will have to pay that fee. That's all there's to it. So we really don't have a choice, but we're trying to be fair here, but at the same time, that makes it very, very clear that if you are in a position to hook up to that system, you're gonna have to pay that assessment fee. So, do I hear a motion to deny this request for a waiver?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to deny.
I'll second that.
Motion made, second, we deny that request for a waiver of the sewer bill for Jeffrey Cooper at 111 Sterling Road. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Number D, letter D, discussion regarding Francis Lambert's excess water usage.
Yes.
Mr. Lambert, I'm gonna call on you to explain what your situation is for us.
Well, it's 330,260 gallons in 3 months.
Okay,
And I'm not even there half the time. I'm there, I leave on Friday and I'm not back till Monday night. So I'm there half the month. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. How can I'd have to use 600 gallons a day to be able to do that for 3 months, you know, that's just for half the month. Around 600 gallons, just to get the equivalent of 10,000 gallons a month out of that. It's either that or I would prefer just to replace the meter. If I have to pay this bill, take the meter out, put a new meter in there,
my understanding is
you know?
the quarter prior to the one in question, you were in around the 4,000 gallon range,
I got
which you have been
plenty
at,
of proof. I got
where you've been
my
right
history,
along.
3,000 to 4,000
Okay, and then all of
in
a
3
sudden it
months.
spiked, and then it went back down, so the quarter from July to now, it's back down to your normal rate, so.
I didn't get
It is back down.
it's right back where it should be
So
normal.
there's some sort of an aberration here that we
I don't
can't
know.
explain.
I can't explain it either.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense to me, because like I said, I'm usually at my girlfriend's on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, I come back later in the evening. So I don't know how it can be, and everything is off. Nothing's dripping. If there's any drip, I fix it right away.
And I would kind of,
And I've been shutting off the main water downstairs, you know?
those outside faucets are no longer.
No, they're not.
Unless you're home.
As soon as you shut the main water valve, it comes right through the foundation, you know, the floor. That's it. Everything you can't get anything out of
Okay.
those taps.
Was that the case during that month, though, was the case when that water was shut off at the main during that period of time?
Not that whole period. I've just been doing it since I've
You've
seen you
done
last.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so
It's a mystery to everybody who's heard this story.
that's ridiculous. That's crazy. I can't see how the hell I could use that kind of water, and I'm only one person in that house. For 14 years now. I've lived there for 14 years, gonna be 14, over 14 now. I've been at Harkness, 12 Sterling Ridge Lane, you know, the HOA,
Yeah.
going up over there.
You must have been one of the early.
Well, not that early, there's quite a few other residents that were there before me, but, I come from Rhode Island originally, you know, so. You know, if I can't get any reduction in the bill, then I would prefer to get the meter replaced and then, because it's mechanical, anything can go wrong, mechanical. I had that replaced like about 8 years ago in 2017.
Yep.
And since then, it's been fine, but then, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something to do with the water, because there are some people up there that say the water is actually kind of a brownish tinge to it. And, you know, they were actually
Just out
bringing
of
in water.
curiosity, did you experience that same thing?
Yeah, on and off, but I just take my water from the fridge, you know, it's filtered, so.
Well, we have to decide what to do for Mr. Lambert here. Are we gonna charge him that difference in what, we, Judy, we decided it was $100 and what?
$170.
$170?
I already paid like, was it $57, so that it would just reduce it down a little bit?
He's already paid the normal bill, which he's been very consistent until this spike.
Yeah,
And it's
crazy
it's
spike,
almost impossible to understand, but it happened.
yeah.
What would you like to do in this situation?
I would say we just do his average payment and then definitely change the meter. You don't have anybody that would steal your water, do you?
No, it doesn't, I don't have any enemies up there, I don't. Not that I know of, you know, my goodness, I mean,
No
people
pool?
move in and out of there all the time.
No swimming pools right next to you?
No, well, there's one resident that has a pool, you know, he's right across the street from me, but he would have to cross the line across the street.
Yeah.
That's only one way up and one way
Yeah.
down, you know,
Okay.
so. Doesn't make any sense. I would help, it would help, actually, I think it might, just to ease my mind to get that meter replaced.
Yeah,
I don't care, I'll pay the rest of the bill, but you know, it's whatever, I gotta do something. I don't want this to happen again. It's just, it's outrageous, you know?
Neil, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Either, I think we should either refund the excess charge or, you know, the excess of over the normal amount, the normal use amount,
Mhm.
either that or else credit his account.
All right,
In other words, he shouldn't be charged for more than the normal rate,
Correct.
okay, which is basically agreeing with Jack.
Now, what about the meter? Can we put in a new meter?
if it happens again, I'll notify you right away. I mean, if that all of a sudden just goes like,
Well,
something went wrong in there,
We,
something, I don't know what happened,
we were
but
talking to one of the fellows from Whitewater yesterday, and obviously this subject was discussed.
yeah,
And he said, the meter seems to be functioning properly,
yeah.
because you've gone from the spike down to the normal level.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Um,
Does he have any other people that have had this issue? Just me?
Total average, it's totally different than anybody else.
Wow. Freak thing, then, I don't know, I can't explain it either. You know, just between 3,000 and 4,000, maybe 5, the most I would use in 3 months.
You
That's
use 4,400 gallons according to our records at the highest point.
That is
Right around there, yeah.
I didn't go back 12 years, but
No, but
Yeah, I
in
have
recent
some
years-
going way back if you wanna see them.
In recent years, you used 4,400 gallons in a quarter, you know,
Yeah.
and now, what was the number that you,
30,260 gallons in a quarter.
a number that you'll never forget?
30,000, that's $226 for a water bill, you know, in one quarter.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion here.
just motion that we, just use his average pay,
All right,
his average usage. And that's all he has to pay.
What about the meter?
The meter, I think, should be replaced,
So that should be by a motion.
and we replace the meter also.
all right.
So here's a second to that.
Let me hear the whole thing again, please.
He wants to charge Mr. Lambert the normal typical charge that he would, that would be in line with what he's been using
Mhm.
historically.
Yeah,
And then, not charge him the extra money and replace the meter.
I'll second.
that covers everything. Thank you, committee members.
And the motion's been seconded, do we have did you just second that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any discussion, any further discussion on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a quick question. Has that excess charge, the billing period with the excess amount on, has that been paid? Or has that been disputed this whole time and we're still trying to figure that out?
Mr. Lambert disputed it, we talked about it,
Mhm.
paid, 4,000 gallons.
The normal rate?
Plus the meter fee.
Yeah, okay, so
He's paid.
we would just be waiving the excess fee, we
Yeah.
wouldn't be refunding any money.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
We have a motion and a second, any more discussion about this? If not, I'm gonna ask for a vote, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Yeah,
Motion carried.
thank you. Do you have a copy of what's gonna happen with, you wanna do a filtration or a purification to the water system? If you wanna get that done like next year? Is that,
The filtration system?
yeah,
We don't know how long that's going to take.
oh,
We,
all right.
it's a long process.
Mhm.
We're continuing with it, it's just that it's very lengthy and very complicated
All
process.
right, yeah,
So all I can say is we're moving forward.
because I had no idea that this was gonna happen until Judy told me,
Yeah.
you know, when I told her about the bill, the water bill.
Yeah.
So that would be good for you to notify the residents of what's coming, so
Well,
they
we
don't
have-
get shocked, you know?
We had a hearing here back in August where we invited the town. It was all publicized as
All right.
well as anything is
Oh,
publicized.
okay,
And we had about 10, perhaps, 10 residents of the
Yeah.
whole town here.
yeah,
They heard the whole procedure was all done with a Zoom meeting, and we had representatives of the company who's done the engineering study. And so they have been notified as best they can, and, any future hearings, obviously, will be publicized as well.
okay, very good. Yeah, and you're gonna set it up with, white water to replace the meter?
Yes, I'll have them get.
So, okay, and the bill will be I'll be billed at that 4,000 gallon usage. It'll be like, what's left on that bill is $170, I
Yeah,
believe?
that's gonna be waived.
That's gonna be waived.
Oh, okay, all right.
You'll like it never happened.
All
So
right.
when you get your bill next month,
You should be in October then, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you won't see that.
All right.
If
No.
it was delinquent, you would
Okay.
see the.
Sounds good.
170.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on to the next item, discussion regarding David Truce's request to waive the sewer bill. We're in exactly the same position we were a few minutes ago with Jeff Cooper. It's a garage, used to be a garage, the hookup is still there, he claims it hasn't been used in years and there's no toilet on that hookup. Doesn't mean it couldn't
Plumbing's going inside the building,
be. Huh?
but the plumbing goes inside the
No,
building.
well, it's still hooked up, it's like, as if it were being used, it's just that it's not being used, it's exactly the same situation.
Can I just clarify one thing? At some point, the WPCA did waive his bills. So this is a little bit different than Jeffrey Cooper.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, history.
Yeah, it's been waived. Russell Gray went out and waived it,
Okay.
but he needed to apply every year for it. I don't have any of the documentation other than that Russell Gray went out and he saw that he wasn't using it, so he waived it.
Okay.
So it hadn't gotten waived, and I sent him the bills for it, and he was questioning why, and I said, you have to apply, you have to come in and request a waiver.
Okay.
But it is the same exact circumstance.
Right.
And we had another gentleman call who doesn't rent out half of his duplex. For a different reason, but he said, why should I have to pay for that if I'm not using it? And my comment to him was, I can't tell whether or not you're using it or not. Just because you're not renting it now, doesn't mean that in the future, you might decide to rent it and then the sewer's running, how are we gonna know about that?
And it was waived, Russell waived.
Russell waived it years ago.
And that's a- I wanted to make sure you understood that that was a.
Thank you, Judy, for that little insight, I didn't realize that.
Where we stand in regards to if it was waived once, how can we take it away?
Well, the same way we just decided that we would deny Jeffrey's waiver.
It's basically the same thing.
Well,
It's not on paper anywhere, right? It's just hearsay.
No, it's in the minutes.
it's in the minutes.
Oh, it is in the minutes? Well, if it's in the minutes, then.
I didn't look at every year's minutes to see if he went before the board every year. But it was waived, Russell approved waiving it for that year.
The question then becomes, do you wanna honor the waiver done years ago, or do you wanna just change your mind on that and deny the waiver? That's the long.
I think if he was to use it, we somehow would have wind of it, of that building being open and being used. It's not
He's
what
using
it's-
rec.
But
I'm gonna scrap you right now.
But he uses the building, I believe. He just said that there's no plumbing inside. Is what his letter says. There's no plumbing available inside this building.
I think,
But you said there's no way of cutting it off, according to what's in here.
no, there's no way of cutting it off. It's plumbed to the building.
Right, this is what's there is
What's
there,
there is there.
and you're gonna pay for it.
And he doesn't pay because Russell waived it. Russell waived it, and he must have gone in and looked at the situation and said, well, he doesn't have a toilet hooked up, he doesn't have water hooked up, so he can waive it. You remember Russell, remember how that worked? And the question is, do you wanna honor that? Or do you wanna have Kyle go out and take a look at that? Have the building official go out and take a look at the building, confirm to us that there is no plumbing hooked up. I mean, what Russell did was years ago, it's gotta be at least 4.5 years ago, but he passed away
Yeah,
then.
I would make that a motion that if we can have.
Okay, we can have,
At
least we can have-
Let's see what his true words gonna be.
let's make that a motion that we have the building inspector go out there and actually look at the property, confirm whether there is plumbing hooked up or not. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
I do, you got it.
Motion made and seconded that we instruct the building official to go out and take a look at this property, determining whether there is or not plumbing hooked up. Any more discussion about that? If not, do I hear a motion, all in favor? All opposed? Okay, that settles that, for now. We should get an answer for next month, and we'll have to make a decision as to what to do then, based on that inspection. New business. Is there any new business we haven't talked about already? And we'll move on to any other business to come before the Water Pollution Control Authority. That's a pretty impressive sounding title, I must say. Any other business? And hearing none. I'm not gonna ask you a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, seconded, all in favor? We are adjourned.